Good afternoon everyone, welcome to ABPD. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic in international relations. That is a recent news item you must be coming across in your newspapers about India-Japan relations. What is this news item? ये news item क्या है कि for the first time there is going to be 2+2 meeting between the foreign ministers and defense ministers of India and Japan. This will be a joint meeting of foreign ministers and defense ministers of India and Japan. So this is, the news is 2+2 mechanism. ये न्यूज कैसे 2010 में इस 2+2 मैकेनिज्म को इंडिया जापान रिलेशंस में इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज किया गया था. What is this 2+2 mechanism? 2010 में 2+2 मैकेनिज्म लाया गया था, बट ये 2+2 मैकेनिज्म ये था कि इंडिया की डिफेंस मिनिस्ट्री, इंडिया की एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्ट्री, जापान की डिफेंस मिनिस्ट्री और जापान की एक्सटर्नल अफेयर मिनिस्ट्री, इसके टॉप ऑफिसर्स, सेक्रेटरी लेवल के ऑफिसर्स आपस में मीटिंग करेंगे और बात करेंगे. ये 2010 में ये लाया गया था. 2018 अक्टूबर जब इंडिया जापान की समिट लेवल मीटिंग हुई थी, तो उस समय डिसाइड किया गया था कि फ्रॉम नेक्स्ट ईयर, दैट इज 2019, द सेक्रेटरी लेवल जॉइंट मीटिंग विल बी अपग्रेडेड टू मिनिस्टीरियल लेवल मीटिंग. तो यही है न्यूज. नाउ इट हैज बीन अपग्रेडेड टू मिनिस्ट्री लेवल. ओके, ये क्या दिखा रहा है कि इंडिया और जापान की रिलेशनशिप जो है वो बहुत ही इंप्रूव कर रही है. इंडिया एंड जापान आर बिकमिंग इंडिस्पेंसिबल फॉर ईच अदर इंक्रीजिंगली. ये कैसे? रीजंस क्या है इस इंक्रीज प्रॉक्सिमिटी के? रीजंस फॉर इंक्रीज्ड प्रॉक्सिमिटी. फर्स्ट रीजन, चाइना फैक्टर. ये चाइना फैक्टर क्या है? China is trying to create a unipolar Asia. Look, China has improved itself economically and militarily. China is now challenging the superpower status of United States of America. So, its increased power has led to unilateral actions by China. Unilateral actions क्या? For example, the whole of the South China Sea is being claimed by China. So, China is asserting itself. Moreover, China has territorial disputes with India as well as Japan. Okay, China has in border issues with India. China claims some part of Arunachal as its own part. Moreover, there is dispute between China and Japan over Senkaku Islands. So, the assertive China or the stronger China is a common threat for India and Japan. So, this is the first reason for increased proximity between India and Japan. Second is US factor. US factor क्या है? The United States of America under President Trump has adopted uncertain foreign policy. Okay? Traditionally, after World War II, USA and Japan were allies. But now under Trump, the US principle is take care of your own security. US is asking its allies to share the burden. And US is not going to protect everyone and send its soldiers everywhere. So, there is a rising possibility that in wake of attack on Japan by China, US may not come to its rescue due to its uncertain policy, or what we call America First foreign policy adopted by President Trump. So there is uncertainty in foreign policy of USA that is leading to both sides, India and Japan, to come together. Third factor, complementarities. What is this complementarity? Both India and Japan fulfill the needs of each other. Okay? For example, Japan's population is most increasingly becoming old. So it needs the younger workforce for its economy. And in India, more than 65% of the population is below 35 years of age. So we have that working age population. So India can provide workforce for Japan's economy. This is one of the complementarity. Another complementarity, India needs technology. India is a growing economy, it needs technology for its infrastructure projects. It needs technology for poverty elevation. And in Japan has cutting edge technologies. Okay? So this is also how India and Japan complement each other. For example, India needed technology related to infrastructure. Japan provided this technology in Delhi Metro. Moreover, Japan is also supporting India with its Mumbai, Delhi freight corridors. So there is complementarity between India and Japan. And the biggest complementarity is that both India and Japan want multipolar Asia. They don't want unipolar Asia. Multipolar Asia का मतलब there should be many players who should be deciding the game in Asian region and not merely China. अब हम देखते हैं कि इस रिलेशनशिप में क्या सर्टेन लैंडमार्क इवेंट्स हुए थे, क्योंकि ये लैंडमार्क इवेंट है 2+2 मैकेनिज्म. पहली बार मिनिस्टर्स will jointly participate in this 2+2 mechanism. So there has been other landmark events also in the relationship. उन कुछ पॉइंट्स को देख लेते हैं. For example, in 2000, India and Japan signed global partnership agreement. ये फैक्चुअल ज्ञान है, आपको पता होना चाहिए जब भी आप इंडिया जापान के रिलेशंस में आंसर्स में लिख रहे हो, तो ये फैक्चुअल इंफॉर्मेशन आपके पास होनी चाहिए. Then in 2006, India and Japan signed strategic partnership. Then in 2010, we signed 2+2 mechanism at secretaries level. Then in 2014, we upgraded our relationship to global strategic partnership. ये सारे कीवर्ड्स आपको अपने आंसर्स में डालने होते हैं. They will help you a lot. अब लास्ट में हम लोग देख लेते हैं कि इश्यूज क्या है इस रिलेशनशिप में. रिलेशनशिप बहुत बढ़िया चल रहा है, लेकिन still there are certain issues in the relationship. First issue. Look, the bilateral relationship is not that strong if economic glue is not there. Relationship में tangibility, strength कब आएगी? जब trade, commerce बढ़िया हो. तो ये पहला इशू है कि हमारी ट्रेड जो है जापान के साथ वो स्टैग्नेंट है, अराउंड $15 बिलियन. India and Japan have signed free trade agreement, but that has not helped in the economic ties in the relationship. इंडिया और जापान की ट्रेड इंप्रूव नहीं हो पाएगी डिस्पाइट ऑफ दिस फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट. रीजंस है. फॉर एग्जांपल, जापान prohibits pharmaceutical and agricultural exports from India. Okay. Moreover, there is a big talk of make in India and invest in India, but these Japanese investors still face bureaucratic hassles in India. तो ट्रेड एंड इन्वेस्टमेंट की इश्यूज है, ये पहली इशू है। सेकंड, डिफेंस। डिफेंस रिलेशनशिप में क्या इशू है कि वी हैव अ good defense relationship with Japan, that there is annual defense minister meet taking place, there is annual national security advisors meet taking place. In fact, Japan's defense policy paper, annual defense policy paper, always highlights the importance of India for its defense and security. So there are great things written theoretically and on paper, but there are no tangible outcomes in the defense relationship. It means Japan is still not transferring any cutting edge technology in defense to India. Why it is not transferring any cutting edge technology? Experts cite many reasons. For example, there are certain conditions laid down by Indian government that if you invest in defense technology in our country, then there are certain domestic procurement requirements also, that out of 100% of the Japanese defense technology, 15% and 20% has to be Indian product to encourage make in India. So these rules and regulations kind of discourage the Japanese businessmen who are the big names in defense technologies. Moreover, Japan still thinks that Japan is a passive state. It is increasingly becoming assertive, or what we call aggressive in nature under Shinzo Abe. So it does not want the tighter defense relationship with India, because it may irk China, it may irritate China. So this is also one of the issues in defense relationship. Okay? Now, at last, what are areas of cooperation? Areas of cooperation में हम लोग देखेंगे कि क्या क्या डायमेंशंस है डिफेंस में, सिक्योरिटी में, इकोनॉमिक रिलेशनशिप में, जो सर्टेन टेंजिबल आउटकम्स जिन्होंने दिया। एरियाज ऑफ कोऑपरेशन, फॉर एग्जांपल, देयर इज वन G4, दैट इज अ पॉलिटिकल एरिया ऑफ कोऑपरेशन। G4 क्या है? G4 is a group of 4 countries, India, Japan, Brazil and Germany. These 4 countries are demanding UNSC reforms in United Nations Security Council, that all these 4 countries demand permanent seat for themselves. So India is cooperating with Japan at G4. और क्या areas of cooperation है? Then there is Asia-Africa Growth Corridor. Asia-Africa Growth Corridor क्या है? इंडिया और जापान मिलकर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स, इंडस्ट्रियल कॉरिडोर्स बनाएंगे इन इंडिया एशिया अफ्रीका रीजन। Why this Asia-Africa Growth Corridor? Because it is being seen as a reply to China's One Belt, One Road initiative. Okay? और क्या areas of cooperation है? सिविल न्यूक्लियर कोऑपरेशन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। ये दिखाता है किस तरह से इंडिया और जापान की रिलेशनशिप बहुत ही इंप्रूव कर चुकी है। इंडिया इज द फर्स्ट नॉन एनपीटी कंट्री विथ विच जापान हैज साइंड सिविल न्यूक्लियर कोऑपरेशन। इससे फायदा इंडिया को क्या होगा? इंडिया विल गेट टेक्नोलॉजीज, न्यूक्लियर फिसाइल मटेरियल्स फॉर इट्स civil nuclear facilities. So this is a high point in India-Japan relationship. Okay? There are certain other less important areas of cooperation also. For example, Open Sky Agreement. Open Sky Agreement क्या है? No limitation on the number of flights between India and Japan. So it will help in improving the people-to-people ties between India and Japan. There are other things also. Sendai framework of disaster management. It is an improved framework disaster management. About disaster management, you will have to study. So there was Hyogo framework. So Hyogo framework of disaster management talked about different ways for managing the disaster, search, rescue operations, how to rehabilitate the victims. Now this has been updated under Sendai framework, and both India and Japan are cooperating in Sendai framework, because both India as well as Japan are highly affected by disasters. Okay. Then there is currency swap agreement. This currency swap agreement is swap between Indian currency and Japanese currency. In fact, in this swap, you must know that for certain amount of Indian currency, they are not only ready to give us Japanese currency but also dollars. So this will help us in improving our foreign exchange whenever there is certain urgent situation. Okay. So these are some important areas of cooperation between India and Japan. So all of these basic dimensions in India and Japan relationship have been discussed. The news was that the relationship has started improving. So thank you very much. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, press the bell icon, and also subscribe to Abipedia's Facebook page. Thank you.